Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder. The fight is imminent. Just waiting for them to actually announce the fight dates, to announce the contracts have been signed. But from everything that I can gather, all the and even different boxing channels, I give them credit, man. You know, I think we've all been pretty consistent with the next fight for Wilder and Ruiz being each other. Also, we have Hector Garcia and Gervonta this weekend, which we're going to talk about that. But this is my growing concern with the Wilder-Ruiz fight. I personally think Andy Ruiz doesn't stand a chance in the fight. Okay? But what got my attention is a lot of people in these different boxing forums, these boxing chat groups, right? I don't know. It seems like Andy Ruiz is gaining some momentum and gaining additional support that wasn't there over the last couple months. So for me, my question is, what is it that people are seeing to make them think Andy Ruiz stands a chance? Now, let's really kind of analyze Andy Ruiz. He's about 6'2", 6'3", okay? He has super fast hands. Anyone who argues about the lightning fast hands that Andy Ruiz has and says that has average speed, stop taking it to the stupid. You must have had a bowl of dumbass for breakfast, okay? Let's not hate on Andy Ruiz. Anyone questioning his durability, let's not take it to the stupid, right? Andy Ruiz can fight. He can take a shot. He's going to be there. And he's not going to quit. Stamina-wise, although Andy Ruiz doesn't look aesthetically pleasing, you got to give a man credit. He can go 12 rounds. That being said, I don't think that's enough to get in there and clip a guy like Deontay Wilder. Now, there is something that I'm seeing with Deontay Wilder that scares me and could cause him to lose that fight. But first, let's talk about why I think Wilder's going to win. First of all, Wilder's 6'7", okay? Second thing, Wilder doesn't fight small. Wilder keeps you at a distance. He'll throw that jab out. Hey, I tell you what, Deontay Wilder, right now, he may have the best jab in the business. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to be honest with you. Larry Holmes, during his time, he had the best jab in the business. That shit sounds funny when I say it because all those comedians, when they talk about boxing, they always say someone has the best jab in the business, right? But Deontay Wilder may have the best jab in the business. As far as the speed that he puts on that jab. Now, when I look at him and Ruiz, I have to say this, it's kind of like him fighting Chris Arreola and Bermane Stiverne. Now, for those of you who, as a matter of fact, Bermane Stiverne has a fight coming up underneath. Don King has another card with Bermane Stiverne on it. But that's a whole nother story. But when you look at when Wilder fought Ruiz, when he fought Arreola, when he fought Stiverne, and when he fights anyone who's shorter than him, even Luis Ortiz, he keeps them at a distance so that he can get the leverage on his shots and the snap on his shots. Now, he doesn't need that to knock you out, but he keeps them there and he gets it on there. Now let's really be fair. Chris Arreola and Andy Ruiz, who's more durable? Let's be honest. Who can take more punishment? Got to give that to Chris Arreola because he's proven it. To go in there and do what he did against Vitaly Klitschko. Okay? So Chris Arreola, to me, and Andy Ruiz is tough. Chris Arreola is tougher. But at the same time, he took a lot of damage and everything. I get it. Gets in there with Wilder. Just couldn't get to the finish line. Wilder had him out of there. Okay? So with Andy Ruiz, if he's able to close the distance, he may have an opportunity. I just don't think he's going to be able to. He's just not going to be able to. Wilder having Malik Scott is a good thing, but it could prove to be a bad thing. Okay? It's a good thing because Malik Scott is a student of the sport. He is analyzing Andy Ruiz, looking at all the things he does great, all the things that he doesn't do great, and all of the opportunities for Wilder to exploit the vulnerabilities that Andy Ruiz shows in the ring. And one thing Malik Scott knows that he has a taller fighter, the fighter with a longer reach, the fighter at arguably probably the faster hands when it comes to just a basic 1-2 combination. And Malik Scott isn't going to encourage Wilder to be dipping down low. He shouldn't anyway, trying to throw that jab to the body or trying to come in close and do infighting. He's not going to do that. He's going to keep it simple, frustrate Ruiz, and then when he least expect it, let go of that big grenade right hand. So for me, I just don't think there's anything Andy Ruiz can do to sit there, man, and really cause problems for Deontay Wilder. The worst thing he can do is come to him. Now, when I was in that chat group yesterday, everybody who was supporting Ruiz was saying, oh, he's a pressure fighter. He's going to cut the ring off. He's going to walk to Wilder, break him down to the body. I'm like, what are you talking about? You have to be a fool to come to Deontay Wilder. Andy Ruiz's defense isn't the best. You think he's just going to walk in on Deontay Wilder? Get out of here. Because once Wilder throws that right hand, even if he misses the mark, Wilder has his arms are long enough, he can just tie you up. And you can say, oh, he's not the best at tying up. Look at what Fury did to him. That's Tyson Fury. We're talking about Andy Ruiz. You know, we're talking about Areola, Stavern, Luis Ortiz. Now, the thing that Wilder has to be careful is if he's going to tie up Andy Ruiz, he's got to hold on for dear life because Andy Ruiz has showed that he's been working on this kind of overhand, these chopping overhand rights and these kind of chopping left hooks where he's not necessarily throwing it textbook. You know, he's bringing it up and over like Marcos Maidana a little bit. And that's what helped him get those knockdowns with in his last fight with Luis Ortiz. So for me, Deontay Wilder easily wins the fight. It's not just because he hits hard. It's because I think he'll be able to control the real estate. Now, this is where I think you're going to have a problem with Deontay Wilder. And I'm just going to be honest with you. To me, if you do something great and you get success, repeated success, right? Why would you change that? Now, with Malik Scott coming in on Deontay Wilder's team, look, he trying to turn, this is why I say you can't turn a lion into a pussycat, man. You understand? Why are you trying to domesticate a lion? Let a lion be a lion. Go roam the jungle and just tear up everything out there. You got Deontay Wilder out here trying to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. It's Deontay Wilder, not Deontay Ali. What the hell is he doing out here trying to throw a jab and a catch and shoot and rolling with punches and shoulder rolling? Man, that ain't no damn Deontay Wilder. So that I don't know about that. Seeing him in the ring and even the way he's been shadow boxing, man, you know, just look like he's missing the mark to me in some areas. But at the same time, they've had a lot of time to continue working together. So I'll wait to see when they start to have the press conferences and the open workouts, and we'll see the clips that eventually start to surface when Wilder gets back into camp. And then we'll see if it's starting to come together. But I'm going to tell you something, and I don't know if you guys saw it. When Wilder fought Helenius, let me tell you, I was concerned. Because first of all, I like both fighters, right? But I was concerned for Wilder because at the first body shot, he threw a jab to the body. He dipped down low. He put that jab out there long. You know, he had them down, long ass arms. Threw that long, dolls him like jab out there. And Helenius countered him. And Wilder kind of stepped back. He kind of gritted his teeth a little bit, kind of like that hurt. And then, he got on his bicycle and was more, moving laterally, moving in circles and kind of just waiting for opportunities to get his shots off. But I saw that. Now, I don't know if you guys saw when Helenius countered him. My thing is, if Helenius can counter Wilder with Wilder throwing a jab to his body, which is something it started in the Tyson Fury fight, the third fight. That's when Wilder all of a sudden developed his jab to the body because he picked up Malik Scott. So that's a new tool in his arsenal. But he has to be careful trying to have any kind of body attack on Andy Ruiz. He's got to be careful. I personally think it won't work. Andy Ruiz has been fat his whole life, but it's a different kind of fat. It's not the kind of fat of someone who's sitting around eating potatoes on the couch with spaghetti stains on his wife beater, breezing. No, Andy Ruiz is in shape. Okay? So you don't expect to just come out there, man, and break out all the windows in his little apartment complex. That's just not how it works, man. You can't just come and think you're gonna break the windows out on Andy Ruiz, because as soon as Wilder goes down to that body, Ruiz is gonna counter him, and that's where Wilder could have a problem. And if Wilder gets hurt, then I think Andy Ruiz would jump on him and go for the finish, because Wilder, like, again, tying up, he's not the best, and I just don't see him taking a knee. I see him trying to push through it and fight through it because of his pride, and then we could get, to me, it'll be a shocking upset. To others, it's not. So for me, Deontay Wilder and Malik Scott, I have to see if the things they've been working on has come together. Right now, I think the verdict's still out on that. But at the end of the day, I got Deontay Wilder winning, and I got him knocking Ruiz out within 4 rounds. I personally think the first shot he hits him with, Ruiz is just going to totally fall apart. And I think after that, it's just a matter of Deontay Wilder touching him a few more times and the referee stopping it. If Joshua can put Ruiz down the way he did with that that hook, then Deontay Wilder can definitely get him out of there with the clean right hand. And for those of you saying it won't happen, I put it to you this way. I say it every time I talk about Deontay Wilder. He has knocked out, whether out cold, TKO, 100% of the opponents he's faced. For those of you saying, oh no, with Tyson Fury, again, in that first fight, he knocked Tyson Fury out cold. Doesn't matter that Tyson Fury, whether you think he had a long count or whatever, the bottom line is he got up, continued fighting, but he was knocked out cold. That being said, Deontay Wilder has knocked out 100% of the opponents that he's fought. So I can't see it being any different with Wilder getting in there with Andy Ruiz or anyone else. If you've knocked out, after 47 fights, 100% of the opponents you faced, why would I sit there and go against you? Especially when it's Andy Ruiz. So hopefully I framed that the right way to where at least you can understand. You may not agree with me, but you can understand where I'm coming from. Now, there's a lot of concern about Hector Garcia and Gervonta Davis. Now, my concern, all right, this isn't anyone else's. This is my concern. I don't believe there was any kind of drug testing for this fight. Now, I have no reason to believe, other than just the eye test, right, that Hector Garcia is using any kind of performance enhancement drugs, right? So I want to make sure I put that out there. No, I haven't heard anyone say that. There's no proof of that. But what I'm getting at is, when I watch a fighter get stronger round after round after round, okay, even what he did with Chris Colbert and what he did in his last fight, where he won the championship, right? And that last fight was more competitive than the Colbert fight. At the same time, when I see a fighter who has, to me, unbelievable punch resistance, unbelievable conditioning and stamina, overall endurance, the punching power is there, okay? When I sit there and I see that, I don't want to sit here, man, and undermine the work they put in the training camp, right? But for me, it's like, okay, let's see if this person can sustain that fight after fight after fight. Now, for Gervonta Davis, fighting Hector Garcia, you guys got to understand, Hector Garcia is an Olympian and everything. He has a whole bunch of fights. So he has experience, right? He has the pedigree. Tank Davis knows it, and Garcia's hungry. But why, when you're at Tank Davis's level, right? Tank Davis really is the next in line to take boxing to the place that Mayweather took it and maybe further. But why, if you want to be your own man, you learn from Floyd Mayweather, you're going to go out there and take control of your career. The one thing that Floyd Mayweather trumpeted, from starting years ago, was being on a level playing field and ensuring there was drug testing. So my thing is, why wouldn't Tank ensure there was VADA drug testing? I know it's expensive, but Tank Davis has the dough. He can afford the drug testing. The type of money that they're both going to make shouldn't have been an issue this fight. So for me, that is a very big concern. I haven't heard anyone else talking about that. That's just me with a kind of trained eye watching this saying, I don't know. So we'll see how things play out, okay? Because we haven't seen anyone overwhelm Gervonta Davis. We haven't seen anyone be able to take his shots cleanly, even when he fought Pitbull Cruz. Pitbull Cruz wasn't taking those shots cleanly, plus Davis had hurt one of his hands. But in that fight, Pitbull Cruz has great defense, and he had Gervonta Davis boxing and moving around, okay? So different styles make fights. But again, if Davis would have been able to set his feet and land cleanly on Pitbull Cruz, could have got him out of there. But when we look at this fight this weekend, if for some reason we see something different in that ring, I'm going to say we need to make sure, they need to make sure that they get some kind of follow-up testing, because it just would shock me that Davis all of a sudden has fallen off and allows a guy like Hector Garcia, who's a great fighter, don't get me wrong, but to come in and just fight and put on the fight of his life. Okay, the next thing that, for me, that I'm a little worried about, how focused is Tank Davis? How focused is he? Okay? Is he going to be able to get in that ring without all the distractions? He did something yesterday at the weigh-in, and this could just be something that Tank is doing now at weigh-ins. We saw Rolly Romero kind of gave him a little soft push. Rolly, it was like a 6-inch drop and shit. So you swear to God, the way Rolly reacted and his trainer reacted, that they threw him off a damn cliff. But anyway, it was like a step, you know what I'm saying? But then Davis, he shoved him off, off the stage. Rolly and his trainer went crazy, but then yesterday when he was facing off with Hector Garcia, he grabbed on him, gave him a little shove, a little bit of gamesmanship, and some people thought he was trying to intimidate him. At first I thought they were going to fight, but then I realized when Tank smiled at the camera and showed off 32 of his teeth, his veneers, that it was just him, messing around. But the thing is this. What that showed me is Hector Garcia is not going to be intimidated. And he looked, I'll tell you what, let's say that was Zab Judah back in the day, and Gervonta Davis did that too, or if that was Terrence Crawford, they would have swung. They would have swung, because they're those kind of people. So with Gervonta Davis doing that, I wonder if that, whatever he was trying to accomplish in grabbing Hector Garcia and giving him that shove, was that just to help sell the fight? Was that just entertainment? Or was he trying to intimidate him, and when it didn't work, how did that affect him? Kind of like with Teofimo Lopez and Kambosos. When Teofimo Lopez took off his shirt and was trying to get in his face, and Kambosos, basically went, nose to nose, forehead to forehead with him, and I think Kambosos showed more aggression. And then you immediately saw Teofimo become deflated. So you could tell there was an energy shift. And that carried on through the fight, and we saw what happened. So for Tank Davis, with everything he had and has going on in his personal life, is he going to be focused enough getting into the ring? I think he has a good team that's going to help him remain focused on the task at hand. However, you just never know what's going on in the fighter's mind, anybody's mind, because even for you, and yeah, I'm talking to you who's looking at this video, right? If you have something that's stressing you, something that has you angry, even if it's something that makes you happy, you can travel from where you're at right now to another country, and you bring all of that with you, whether it's good or bad. You know why? Because you can't leave your mind behind. And when Tank Davis gets in the ring with Hector Garcia, if he's carrying all that luggage, which I'm sure he's thinking about things, right? You can't just sit there and block that out. But I hope he can be focused enough to get in the ring and to bring that focus and to bring that tenacity, opposed to bringing all that luggage and that concern and worry into the ring and get distracted. And then we see probably be upset. That probably, although it's early in the year, that'll probably be upset of the year. I'm telling you, I don't think there's any more fights on the horizon where the underdog could win, and that would be considered a shocker or a upset of the year. If Hector Garcia was a clip Tank Davis, that would be upset of the year. I don't even think it'd be worth discussing. I think he'd be a shoo-in for it, and I think he would win. But that being said, I just think when you're a guy like Gervonta Davis, I'm going to say it like I said it for Wilder. When you hit like that and you knock people out like that, it's kind of hard to vote against them and to think that someone who has maybe equal ability but not that kind of power is going to be able to get in there and get to the end of the fight. I just don't see it happening, man. But I do think it will be competitive, and if Tank isn't on his A game, could be a problem. And for those of you saying, "Oh, we watch Hector Garcia fight, he gets hit, he's sloppy, he's this." Now, if you've really been in the ring, you know the way shit looks on the outside, that's not how it is necessarily when you get on the inside of that ring. I don't care if all you did was spar. You didn't have to be a fight in the amateurs. You didn't have to be a professional. If you've gone in the ring and you sparred, I would say 5, 6, 7 times, 8, 9 times, that's enough for you to realize everything isn't what it seems. Okay? That's enough for you to be able to sit down and intelligently speak to sparring, to fighting, what it feels like when you get tired, how hard it is to keep your hands up, how hard it is to move your head, how hard it is to move around the ring, especially when that fatigue sets in and you're breathing, and to stay focused. I'm telling you, once you start getting tired, that shit is mental. The type of thoughts that go through your mind, and you see this opponent coming at you. And, you know, when you start hearing what's going on outside the ring, it's when you're losing focus. And I've had fights, man. And when right before the bell rings, I can hear the crowd. I can hear everything. As soon as that bell will ring, there's nothing. I hear nothing. Nothing, man. And that's amazing. Like, I'm serious. I just would just see the opponent in front of me. I would hear nothing. Now, if I buzzed him and he got a standing 8, then it's like the volume gets turned up again, and I can hear everything, and I'll look and see, and then the fight starts back, and I can't hear nothing again. I'm serious. It's crazy. So for Tank Davis, I just hope he can stay focused, and I hope when he's in there, man, I hope he has the same thing where he doesn't hear anything. He just focuses on the opponent, and I hope we get a good fight. But that being said, I got Deontay Wilder winning because of power. If he loses, it's because he's trying to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee, and the lion turned into a pussycat. Tank Davis, same thing, man. That power, boxing IQ, and just a brilliant boxing brain. The man been boxing since he's been 7 years old. Special hands, heavy hands. And the only way I can see him losing that fight is, one, if it's not a level playing field, those pads are my concern. And two, again, there's no proof of that. There's just me kind of watching and saying, better safe than sorry. So the pad thing, and if Gervonta Davis can't stay focused and he find himself talking outside the ring and all the things that he normally does, man, I just don't think he can do that with this guy. Stop being cute. Stop trying to show off. Focus on the task at hand, or Gervonta Davis could go down and could lose this fight. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, people from all 7 continents, and I'm in the breeze.